The scream cut through the hall like a knife. Cameras flashed. People gasped. The music stopped. And Clara, shaking, wide-eyed, heart beating like a drum, found herself lying on top of a Korean man, her palms pressed against his chest, their lips accidentally touching for the briefest, most shocking second of her entire life. She didn't even understand what had happened. One moment, she was on the runway, lights in her eyes, doing the catwalk she had practiced 1,000 times. And the next, crash, fall, impact, then silence. Heavy, painful silence. The man beneath her blinked fast, just as stunned as she was. He looked no older than early 30s, with soft brown eyes, sharp cheekbones, and a suit that screamed money. Clara scrambled backward, so fast she slipped again, falling to her knees. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, I didn't see my shoe," her words tangled in panic. The world stopped breathing when another voice tore through the hall. "Get away from my fiancé!" A woman stormed forward, her heels echoing like thunder. Tall, elegant, expensive hair, expensive makeup, furious eyes. She grabbed the Korean man's arm and yanked him up as if someone had tried to steal him. Clara stared up at her, chest rising and falling, tears gathering in her eyes, even though she was trying so hard to hold them back. It was an accident," Clara whispered. "Please, I just slipped." "Don't touch him," the fiancé snapped. "Are you crazy? You fell on him like you were looking for attention." People were whispering now. Phone cameras were pointed at Clara. Some were covering their mouths in shock. Some were laughing. Some were already recording for social media. Clara felt her throat closing. She didn't plan this. She didn't want this. She just wanted to model. She just wanted one chance. One chance to shine. The man, June, touched his fiancé's arm. "Unesio, stop. She didn't do anything wrong." But Unesio jerked away sharply. "Are you defending her?" Clara's voice shook. "My shoe." The heel twisted. I swear I didn't mean to fall." But Unesio wasn't listening. "Stay away from him," she hissed. "This night is already ruined because of you." And then, as if her heart couldn't take another second of the humiliation, Clara did the only thing she could. She ran. Past the crowd. Past the flashing lights. Past the judges and the actresses and the models who stared at her like she had destroyed the show. She pushed through a side door and collapsed against the cool wall of the backstage hallway, chest burning, tears spilling. Her dream, her one chance to stand out in the Korean fashion world, had just turned into a nightmare. She held her shoe in her hand, staring at the heel. And for the first time, she noticed something strange. The tiny screws at the bottom were missing. Cleanly removed. Not broken, removed. Her breath hitched. "No, this can't be," she whispered. Someone had tampered with her shoe. But who? Why? Clara wiped her tears with the back of her hand. Not now. She would think later. Right now, she just needed to hold herself together. Meanwhile, inside the hall, the tension could still be felt in the air. Guests were whispering, and some kept replaying the fall from the videos they had recorded. Unesio folded her arms angrily. "This is embarrassing. That girl should be banned from ever coming here." June didn't respond. He was trying so hard not to smile. Not a big smile, but a small, strange, confused one. He didn't know why. Maybe it was shock. Maybe it was the unexpectedness of the fall. Maybe it was how her wide eyes looked when they met his. Or maybe it was the way she whispered, "I'm sorry," like she meant it with her whole soul. But he kept seeing her face. Over and over. He shook his head. "What is wrong with me?" Unesio caught the small smile. Her face hardened. "You're smiling." She stepped in front of him. "Are you actually smiling because of that girl?" "No," he said quickly. "It's not. I'm just surprised." "Surprised," she scoffed. "You want to know what I think? I think she did it on purpose." "Unesio." "No. Don't defend her again." She turned and stormed out, leaving him standing alone. June touched his lips gently, a place where Clara's lips had accidentally brushed. He didn't know why his heart was beating faster. Backstage, Clara sat on a plastic chair, hugging herself tightly. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from her best friend back in Nigeria. "How did it go?" "Did you win?" Smiling face with hard eyes. Tears rolled silently down her cheeks. She typed shakily. "I fell." Another message came instantly. "Sorry, love. You'll do better next time." Clara dropped the phone and covered her face. If only it was just a fall. If only the entire hall hadn't seen her land on a man and accidentally touch lips with him. If only the fiancé hadn't screamed like she was a thief. She exhaled deeply, fighting the pain in her chest. This wasn't supposed to be my story today. God, why? Outside the venue, June stepped into the cool night air, hands in his pockets. He took a deep breath, but it didn't steady him. He kept thinking of her. The confusion in her eyes. The fear in her voice. The way she kept apologizing even though she was hurt. He frowned. Why am I thinking about this stranger? But deep inside, he knew this wasn't going away anytime soon. Not the memory. Not the feeling. Not the curiosity. Who was she? What was her name? And why, out of everyone he had ever met, why was her face the one stuck in his mind? The night refused to let Clara rest. Even after she left the pageant hall, took the cold bus ride home, and entered her tiny studio apartment, the humiliation kept replaying in her mind like a broken video. The fall, the accidental kiss, the scream, the cameras, the stares, the shame. She sat on the edge of her narrow bed, still wearing her stage makeup, staring at the broken heel in her hand. Why would someone do this to me? She whispered. It wasn't just a loose heel. Someone deliberately removed the screws. A model, a jealous contestant, someone who didn't want an African girl shining on a Korean stage. She swallowed hard. Her heart felt too heavy for her body. Just as she placed the damaged shoe on the table, her phone buzzed. A message from her agency manager. We need to talk. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp. Clara closed her eyes. That was never a good sign. Meanwhile, across Seoul, June lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, wide awake. This was ridiculous. He was a grown man with a business to run, a fiancée to marry, a life already planned, yet his mind was filled with a girl he didn't even know. A girl who fell on him. A girl who touched his lips by accident. He turned to the side. Sleep refused him. He sighed deeply. Why couldn't he forget her face? He could still hear her shaky voice. I didn't mean to. I just slipped. He sat up abruptly. This was not normal. He needed answers. He needed to see her again. Not for romance. Not for fantasies. He just wanted clarity. He needed to know why the memory of her felt so loud. The next morning, Clara woke up with a headache from crying. She washed her face, tied her hair neatly, and wore simple jeans and a sweater. Today wasn't about beauty. Today was about survival. When she arrived at the modeling agency's office, the receptionist didn't smile like she usually did. Everyone was whispering. Everyone already knew. Her chest tightened. She was ushered quickly into the manager's office. He didn't even ask her to sit. Clara, what happened last night was unacceptable. Her heart dropped. It was an accident. It doesn't matter. He rubbed his temples. You embarrassed the agency. Videos are trending online. People are calling us. Clara felt tears burning behind her eyes. I didn't mean. Intent doesn't change the outcome, he interrupted. We cannot work with scandals. We have strict sponsors. So what are you saying? He sighed heavily. We may need to suspend you for a while. Suspend? Her voice cracked. For something I didn't even do? You fell on a guest. You kissed him. It wasn't a kiss, she cried. I lost balance, my shoe. Enough. He held up a hand. We'll discuss this again after things calm down. Her legs felt weak. What about my rent? My bills? I depend on this job. He didn't answer. He didn't care. She walked out of the office with her hands shaking and her dreams collapsing piece by piece. Across the city, June's office. June sat behind his desk, signing documents, but he wasn't reading anything he wrote. His assistant walked in. You seem distracted today, sir. I'm fine. Are you sure? You've been smiling at your computer screen for 10 minutes, and the screen is blank. June blinked. He didn't even realize it. He cleared his throat and stood up. I need you to find someone for me. The assistant lifted a brow. Someone? Yes. A model. She was at the pageant last night. Sir, do you know her name? June hesitated. No. Do you know which agency she came from? No. The assistant sighed. So how do I find her? June walked toward the window, hands in his pockets. Look at the event footage. The guest list. The camera angles. Someone must have captured her. The assistant nodded, though confused. Yes, sir. I'll start searching immediately. As the assistant left, June sat back down, staring at nothing again. He didn't know what he would say if he found her. He didn't know what explanation he was seeking. All he knew was this: whatever happened last night had awakened something inside him. Something he couldn't ignore. Later that afternoon, Clara's apartment. Clara lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Everything felt heavy. She came to Korea chasing opportunity, chasing hope. But instead, all she got were strange looks, whispers, and now suspension. Her stomach growled. She ignored it. Then, another message from her agency manager. Come back. We need to talk again. Urgent. Clara rushed back, heart pounding. When she arrived, the manager avoided eye contact. He cleared his throat. Clara, something serious has happened. What? Someone contacted immigration about your visa status. What do you mean? Her voice shook. He opened a file on his screen. It looks like someone filed a complaint claiming you violated residency rules. Clara froze. Her breath caught in her throat. What are you saying? I'm saying immigration is reviewing your case. If they don't like what they see, they can revoke your visa. Her knees buckled. No. I've done nothing wrong. Who would do this? The manager shrugged. You know people. Competitions bring jealousy. What do I do now? She whispered. For now, wait. Wait for her whole life to be taken. She walked out of the building like a ghost. Someone wanted her gone. Someone wanted to erase her from Korea. But who? She didn't know that the answer was closer than she imagined, and far more dangerous. That same evening, at June's penthouse, June was looking through event photos his assistant collected. Sir, I found her. His heart stopped. Show me. The assistant placed a printed photo on the table. It was Clara, standing gracefully on the runway, eyes bright, smile warm, skin glowing under the lights. June stared at the image, something soft stirring inside him. This is her, he whispered. You want her contact information? The assistant asked. June hesitated, then nodded. Yes, I need to speak to her. Privately. For what reason, sir? June looked away, suddenly feeling exposed. To apologize, but inside, he knew it wasn't just that. Meanwhile, in a luxury apartment across town, Unesio, the fiancé, sat with her father. Her voice trembled with fury. I saw him smiling about her again. He keeps thinking about that stupid girl. Dad, make sure she never comes near him again. Her father adjusted his glasses calmly. I already submitted the complaint to immigration. Her visa will be questioned. It's only a matter of time before she's forced to leave. A slow, cold smile formed on Unesio's lips. Good. I want her out of this country before she destroys my marriage. She didn't know. She had just started a war she could never win. Clara lay awake long into the night. Korean streetlight poured into her small apartment, painting long shadows across her walls. She kept staring at the broken shoe on her table, the missing screws, the humiliation, the whispers at the agency, and the terrifying thought of possibly being deported. She hugged her pillow tighter. God, please, not like this. She wasn't asking for fame. She wasn't asking for magic. She just wanted a fair chance. But whatever this wasn't fair. Across town, June's assistant digs deeper. June's assistant sat in front of his laptop, eyes red from staring too long at surveillance footage. He replayed the moment Clara fell for the 10th time. Then he paused, zoomed in, then zoomed in again. Something about the moment she stepped onto the stage felt off. He leaned closer. Her heel twisted unnaturally, not like someone losing balance naturally, more like something snapped. He rewound the footage again. Then he noticed another detail, a stagehand bending near Clara's shoes backstage, just 5 minutes before her walk. The assistant frowned. That's strange. He printed the image and ran to June's office. Inside June's office, Sir, look at this, the assistant said. June took the paper, brows furrowing. What am I looking at? Backstage camera footage. This stagehand was touching Clara's shoes before her catwalk. June's eyes sharpened. Why? That's the question. I checked his employee file. He doesn't exist in the staff records. So he shouldn't have been there. Exactly. June leaned back, heart tightening. Someone sabotaged her. Someone wanted her humiliated. He didn't know why he suddenly cared so much, why the stranger's suffering pulled at him, but it did. He felt something he rarely felt, Protectiveness. Clara receives a strange message. Her phone vibrated. Unknown number. Miss Clara, please come to Maple Cafe at 2 p.m. It is about your accident. Clara hesitated. Her hands trembled slightly. The message wasn't threatening. But mysterious messages were dangerous. She considered ignoring it. But curiosity pulled stronger. What if someone wants to help? She whispered. And she desperately needed help. At Maple Cafe, a meeting that changes everything. Clara arrived early. She had barely slept, and her eyes were puffy, but she still wore a simple, calm smile for public spaces. Korea taught her to always look composed, no matter how much she was bleeding on the inside. She sat at a corner table. 5 minutes later, a tall man in a black suit entered. He scanned the room until his gaze landed on her. Her breath caught. It was him, the man she fell on. June. He approached slowly. Clara, he said gently. Her name and his voice felt strange. Calm, warm, almost safe. How do you know my name? She asked softly. I asked someone to look into the incident, he admitted. Clara stiffened. So you investigated me? He sat opposite her, hands clasped together. Not you. The fall. Clara swallowed, unsure how to respond. I didn't mean to embarrass you, she finally whispered. I didn't mean to touch you. It wasn't planned. I was just scared. June shook his head. I'm not here for an apology. He slid a printed photo across the table. Clara's eyes widened. It was the backstage screenshot, the unknown man touching her shoes. What is this? She whispered. Someone sabotaged you, he said. Your shoe didn't break on its own. Clara stared at the picture, her hands trembling. Her voice cracked. Why would someone want to humiliate me like that? June didn't know how to tell her the truth. Not yet. Not that his fiancée was losing her mind in jealousy. Not that someone had already moved to destroy her visa. Not that he felt partly responsible. So he only said, I don't know yet, but I'm going to find out. Clara's eyes softened in fear and gratitude. Why are you helping me? She asked. June looked at her for a long moment. He didn't smile. He didn't flirt. He didn't pretend. He simply said, because you didn't deserve what happened, and because no one should have their dreams stolen. Clara's heart shook a little. Those were the kindest words she'd heard in weeks. Outside the cafe, someone watches them. Across the street, hidden behind a tinted car window, a woman clutched her phone tightly. It was Unesio. Her face twisted with anger. How did he find her? Why is he sitting with her? Why is he defending her? Jealousy burned through her chest. She dialed a number quickly. Dad, she hissed. I need you to speed up the immigration complaint. She's meeting June. I don't want her in this country another week. Her father's calm voice replied, Don't worry. We'll handle it. But Unesio wasn't satisfied. She glared at Clara like she wanted to erase her from the world. If she thinks she can steal my fiancé, she must not know who I am. Back inside the cafe, Clara took a deep breath. What will happen to me now? I might lose my visa. My agency is suspending me. Everything feels like it's falling apart. June's gaze softened. I'll help you, he said quietly. How? She whispered. I don't know yet, but I will. Clara's chest tightened. No one had ever said something like that to her in Korea. No one cared. No one defended her. No one asked if she was okay. But here he was, the man she embarrassed, the man whose fiancé shouted at her, the man she accidentally fell on. He was helping her. Why? She didn't understand it, but she felt something shift, something small, warm, unexpected. Hope. Later that night, June confronts Unesio. When June returned home, Unesio was waiting. Her arms folded, her voice sharp. You met her. June froze. How did you? Don't insult me, she snapped. I saw you. I followed you. June exhaled slowly. Unesio, she needed help. No, she hissed, stepping closer. You're falling for her. June's eyes widened. What? That's not. Oh, please. She scoffed. You think I don't see how you look when her name is mentioned? He didn't answer. That silence hurt her more. She shook with anger. I won't let her ruin my life, she said. She will leave this country. I'll make sure of it. June's jaw tightened. What did you do? Unesio smirked. Something that should have been done already. June's heart sank. She had done something. Something terrible. Clara's phone buzzes. She picked it up nervously. It was a message from immigration. You are requested to appear for questioning regarding your visa status. Her fingers went numb. Her chest squeezed painfully. No, no, please no. Her eyes filled with tears. She could no longer hold back. Everything was happening too fast. Too unfair. Too cruel. And she didn't realize. Her pain was only beginning. Clara sat frozen on her bed, staring at the message from immigration as if it were a nightmare written in plain text. Her hands trembled. Her throat tightened. Her stomach twisted painfully. Why is this happening now? She whispered. She had done everything right. Followed every rule. Worked hard. Stayed humble. Stayed quiet. Yet here she was, being summoned by the one office that could erase her entire life in Korea with a single stamp. Her phone buzzed again. Another message from her agency manager. Clara, I just received notice. Immigration wants your file. Come in first thing tomorrow. Clara shut her eyes as tears streamed down her cheeks. This can't be real. Please God, not like this. Meanwhile, June confronts Unesio. The penthouse filled with tension thicker than smoke. June stood in front of the large window overlooking the Seoul skyline, fists clenched, jaw tight. Behind him, Unesio paced in rage. You're acting like I'm the villain, she snapped. But she's the one who fell on you in front of hundreds of people. June inhaled sharply. She slipped. Someone messed with her shoe. Oh, please. Unesio scoffed. You actually believe that? You think she didn't do it on purpose to get your attention? Unesio, he said calmly, but his voice was firm. Someone did sabotage her. I saw the footage. She froze. The mask on her face cracked, just a little. June stepped closer, eyes sharp. Did you have anything to do with it? Of course not, she shouted too quickly. He didn't believe her. Not anymore. And the complaint to immigration? He asked. Her eyes widened slightly, just enough to give her away. June's voice dropped lower. You reported her, didn't you? She was getting too close. Unesio exploded. I did what I had to do to protect what's mine. Unesio, she's not trying to take anything from you. She touched you. It was an accident, he shouted for the first time. The room fell silent. Unesio stared at him like she no longer recognized him. His breath was heavy. His heart hitched painfully. I'm going to fix this, he said. Her face twisted. You're going to chase after her again? June didn't answer. He didn't need to. His silence was already the loudest confession. The apartment felt smaller than ever. Every second felt like a countdown. Every breath felt like it might be her last in Korea. She held her Nigerian passport tightly in her hand. What do I even tell them? She whispered. That I slipped? That someone sabotaged me? Will they even believe me? Her voice cracked with fear. Even if she explained, who would take the word of a foreign model over whoever reported her? She paced back and forth. Then she stopped. Her mind drifted back to June, to the gentle way he spoke, to the concern in his eyes, to the strange, quiet comfort she felt around him. For a moment, a small moment, she wished he were here. But she shook the thought away. Stop thinking nonsense, she whispered to herself. He's engaged. He probably feels guilty. That's all. She wiped her tears and crawled into bed, still trembling, still scared, still alone. But tomorrow would be worse. The next morning, immigration office. Clara stepped inside the cold building, hugging her files and documents like a shield. The officers questioned her for nearly 2 hours. Where she lived, where she worked, how much she earned, why she came to Korea, why her agency suspended her, if she caused a public disturbance, if she had violated employment rules. Clara's voice cracked several times, but she stayed respectful. She kept explaining, over and over, gently, honestly. It was an accident, she repeated softly. I didn't kiss anyone intentionally. I lost balance. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. The officer scribbled notes, expression unreadable. We'll contact you with our decision, he finally said. Those words hit harder than any insult. A decision about her life, about her future, about whether she would stay or be forced to leave. She walked out of the building with shaky legs. Outside, someone was waiting. She barely stepped out when a black car stopped beside her. The back door opened. June stepped out. Her breath caught instantly. June, she whispered, stunned. He looked tense, worried, as if he hadn't slept all night. "Clara," he said softly, "I found out what happened. I'm so sorry." Tears filled her eyes immediately. I don't know what to do," she whispered. "They said they'll decide. They might send me home." June stepped closer, not touching her, not crossing lines, but close enough that she felt the warmth of his presence. "I'm going to fix this," he said firmly. "You can't," she whispered. "I don't even know who reported me." "I do." She froze. June took a deep breath. It was un SEO. Clara covered her mouth in shock. She did this to me." June nodded slowly. "She's been jealous, angry. She didn't want me to think about you. She crossed a line." Clara shook her head desperately. "But I didn't do anything. I don't even know her." Pain filled June's eyes. "I know, and I'm sorry." She looked down, unable to speak. Tears dripped silently onto the concrete. June wanted to comfort her, to take away the hurt, to make this nightmare disappear. But he kept his distance. Carefully, respectfully. "I will talk to immigration. I will talk to the officials. I'll speak to your agency. I'll do everything I can." "But why?" she whispered through tears. "Why are you doing all this for me?" June looked at her long and quietly, his voice low. "Because you didn't deserve this. And because I can't stand by and watch your life fall apart because of something that wasn't your fault." Clara's chest tightened painfully. She didn't know what this was, why he cared, why he was fighting for her, why he looked at her the way he did. But she could feel something shifting in him, in her, in the world around them. Something neither of them could stop. Something neither of them expected. Something dangerous. Later that day, Unesio realizes she's losing control. When Unesio heard June had gone to see Clara, her fury exploded. She threw her phone across the room, screaming. "He chose her," she shouted to herself. "He actually chose her." Her jealousy was no longer just anger. It was fear. Fear of losing the life she planned, the man she thought belonged to her, the future she believed she deserved. She grabbed her coat and stormed out. If Clara wasn't leaving Korea voluntarily, Unesio was determined to make sure she left by force. Clara receives a devastating notice. That evening, as Clara tried to calm herself, her phone buzzed. A new email from immigration. "Your visa status has been temporarily suspended pending final review." Her heart dropped. Suspended? Suspended meant she could not work. Suspended meant she could be removed any day. Suspended meant her life here was collapsing. She sat on the floor, breath shaking. No, what do I do now?" Then, another message. "Prepare for possible deportation within 72 hours unless otherwise notified." Clara felt the room spin. Everything was fading. Everything was collapsing. Everything was ending. Her dream, her years in Korea, her hope, gone. And she had no idea. This was only the beginning of the storm. The airport was colder than Clara expected. Not because of the air conditioning, but because of a silence. A silence that felt like goodbye. A silence that felt like the end of every dream she thought Korea had promised her. She stood near the boarding gate, clutching her passport with shaky fingers. Her legs felt heavy. Her heart felt heavier. People were lining up already. The announcement had gone out. "Flight to Lagos, now boarding." Those words hit her chest like 1,000 stones. Clara swallowed hard. "This is it. Your life here is over." She kept repeating those words because if she stopped, she would cry. And she had no strength left to cry again. Behind her, airport noise continued like nothing was happening. Luggage wheels rolling. Children laughing. People talking about vacations. But inside Clara, everything was breaking apart. She stepped forward. One more step, and she would be gone. Her hands trembled as she lifted her boarding pass. Her heart squeezed painfully. He didn't come. Maybe he never cared. Maybe it was all just a moment, an accident. She inhaled deeply. "Move, Clara. Move." She forced her leg forward. "Clara!" The scream exploded through the airport like thunder. Everyone froze. Clara froze. Her name in that voice. That voice she only heard in her dreams since the accident. Clara turned slowly, like she was afraid it would be a lie. And there he was, Jean Woo, running, sweating, breathing hard, pushing through people, eyes locked on her like she was the only person left in the world. Security guards and airport police were chasing behind him, shouting for him to stop. But he didn't stop. He didn't even slow down. His suit jacket was gone. His tie was missing. His hair was messy like he had been running for hours. He probably had. Clara's breath caught. She forgot how to breathe entirely. Jin-woo stumbled but kept running, his voice breaking as he shouted again. "Clara, stop!" The whole airport stared. Phones were out. Everyone was recording. Even the air seemed to freeze in place. Clara's heart slammed against her chest. Her legs refused to move. Jin-woo stopped right in front of her, chest heaving, eyes red from stress and fear. For a moment, neither of them spoke. They just stared, like the whole world had gone quiet. Then, he did the impossible. He turned to the officers blocking the boarding gate and shouted loud enough for the whole airport to hear. "She can't be deported. She's my fiancée." Gasps filled the air. People dropped their bags. Someone screamed, "Yeesh!" Even Clara felt her soul leave her body for a second. The officers looked confused. People were whispering. Phones kept recording. Jin-woo stepped closer to Clara, voice trembling but sure. "Clara, I'm not letting you go. Not today. Not ever." Her entire body went still. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. He continued, voice softer now. "I know this is crazy. I know I should have spoken earlier, but every second without you felt like punishment. I can't explain what happened between us that night." He paused, eyes locking with hers, full of emotion. "But it wasn't an accident to me anymore. It changed everything. You changed everything." Clara's eyes filled with tears, but she still couldn't speak. She still couldn't believe this was real. The officers turned to Jin-woo. "Sir, is this true?" He nodded firmly. "Yes. I am filing for marriage. Immediately. She is not leaving this country." Clara's hands flew to her mouth. The officers stepped aside. The fiancé's evil plan destroyed. Clara's deportation cancelled. Her dream saved. And all because Jin-woo ran through an entire city, through traffic, through crowds, through chaos, just to reach her. Just to say one thing. "You're mine." But not possessively. Not forcefully. Not aggressively. It was a promise. A vow. A declaration that she mattered. Clara's voice finally cracked out as she whispered, "Jin-woo, why?" He smiled, a soft, breathless smile she had never seen before. "Because I fell for you the moment you fell on me." The airport erupted. People screamed. Some clapped. Some cried. A Nigerian woman shouted, "Oh, God, when?" A Korean teenage boy said, "This is better than K-drama." Clara laughed through her tears. Jin-woo reached out his hand. Not forcefully. Not dramatically. Just gently asking for her choice. She placed her hand in his. It fit perfectly. And the whole airport, exploded in applause.